One thing that I find interesting is that at the same time, you've mentioned that Fanon is the scholar who is taken up by so many different groups at various different points in history and serving different theoretical purposes and historical needs. But much as that is the case, something that the book underscores is the extent to which Fanon as a psychologist and Fanon as a phenomenologist is something that is still underexplored, or at least something that doesn't really dominate in how people think and write about him. You mentioned that your preference, or maybe that's the wrong word, but you read Black Skins or White Masks more than you did Wretched of the Earth. And Wretched of the Earth is typically the book that people sort of use to understand the post-colonial condition. Why do you think that aspect of Fanon's professional background is so neglected?
I'm sure Lesmond has something to say about that, but I'll just jump in very quickly, just to make 2 points. One crucial bridging point here is just to bear in mind, and we've been battling about phenomenology. What is phenomenology? But one crucial element in the book is to foreground the lived experience. And one of the things that Fanon does multiple important, in many ways unprecedented and really revolutionary and crucial, critical things. But one of the things he says is that we need an appeal to the facts of lived experience itself. And unless we have that, an account based on lived experience, you lose something very crucial in the fight against anti-Blackness, in the fight against colonialism, in the fight against racism. And I think that's what the book is trying to foreground in multiple different ways. But then just to come back to your question, there's other stuff happening in South Africa right now. So for example, at WITS, Sheila Mbembe and Wiser is running a whole seminar series on Fanon, after Fanon. But the idea, I think, in that series, and certainly in some of the contemporary scholarship, is to bring back Fanon the psychiatrist. And it's interesting that that's fallen away. There might be multiple reasons for that. But now, one of the things that is certainly happening right now in Fanon scholarship is in renewed attention to some of the psychiatric writings, which have only now recently been published in English. So we're hoping to make a little bit of a contribution to that. But I think increasingly people want to see Fanon not just as a political revolutionary. I mean, that never falls away. That's crucial. That's the foreground main story. But that he is attentive to psychological dynamics, that he is a psychiatric thinker as much as a political thinker.
I can only underscore what Derek said. He said it so much better than I could, but perhaps what I could add, William, is this feeling I had the very first time I read Fanon, the very first time. It was Black Skin, White Masks. And that was not, and I'm careful to use the word feeling, because that was what it was, It wasn't an impression of the head or the ego first, even though that might have been there. But it was a sense that, my God, this person gets me. This brother sees me, and he sees me in a way that is, that was into my soul, if you will, and the way in which he did that, or the manner in which he did that through poetry and all of that, but it was because he spoke to a psychology, a soul, an experience in such a felt manner, before all of the others, before all of the theory of the decolonization and all of that came, before all of that came, it was a felt experience. And I think that is part of what stayed with me all these years. And I didn't want to lose that. And I think that a return to that lived experience, or not a return, but just highlighting it alongside all of the others, just gives credence to the complexity and the fullness of his work, as it does to our experience as readers of Fanon, and the ways in which we met up with him and faced up to him.